Chelsea fans, we are deep into the international break and currently Chelsea are sitting 4th in the league table. So I thought this would be an amazing opportunity to brutally rank Chelsea players so far this season. Sit down, grab a cup of tea, put your feet up and share your views and opinions with me in the comment section as we go through this video because there's a lot of players to get through. On this tier list, we have 5 different categories. We have got unreal, exceeding expectations, on point, needs to improve and trash. If you are new around here and you love Chelsea Football Club, make sure you leave a like on this video. It helps the channel massively, and subscribe if you're new. Let's get into this tier list. So starting off, we have Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez has been a bit of a funny one, really, because we expect so much from Enzo. So much. And I feel like in some games he's played very well and some games he hasn't performed the way we want him to. Now, is this a systematic thing? Is it his ability? Is it what the manager's asking for him tactically? I don't really know. So I'm going to put Enzo... I'm going to say needs to improve because I feel overall he does need to improve a little bit so we can start seeing the Enzo Fernandez we want to see consistently. He has played well, though. Next up, we have Romeo Lavia. Very difficult because he's played very limited minutes, but he has been exceptional when he has played. So I'm actually going to put in exceeding expectations. I can't even talk. Yeah, I think that's fair. When he has played, he's been exceeding expectations. I think everyone was like, wow, what a player. However, he has had very limited minutes. So I think that's fair. Up next, we have Malo Gusto. Malo Gusto has been hindered with a few injuries already this season. We know how good Malo Gusto is as a player. I'm going to stick him in on point purely because he's doing what we expect of him. Hopefully, Malo Gusto can stay fit for large parts of the season because he's such a vital player for our system and for our position. We know Reece James has been up and down with his fitness and trying to stay fit. And while that's all going on behind the scenes, it would just be really nice to have Malo Gusto being a constant that we can play at right back. Next up, we got Mr. Cole Palmer. There's only one place for him. Unreal. This guy, what a start to the season he has had. 4 goals in a Premier League half. Breaking records. Making history. Grabbing assists as well. I think as of the recording, he's like 10 GA in the first 7 games of the season. People are doubling up and tripling up on him. And what a player. Speaking of Mr. Injured, next up we have Reece James. Now, the bottom tier is trash. I don't think Reece James is trash. However, he's just never fit. So it's difficult because the minutes we saw him play in pre-season, he wasn't great. And I know he was coming back off of surgery and injuries. I get that. But like, Reece James has a standard and I'm going to stick him... in needs to improve purely because he just needs to stay fit. He's not going in that trash tier. That's reserved for a few players, but definitely not Reece James. Next on the list, we have Pedro Neto. I would say he's performing on point. I think when he first came in, he exceeded expectations because it's been a long time since Chelsea had seen a very direct winger and someone who wanted to beat a man, take a man on and just try and create something. And I think that he was exceeding expectations. But as the first 7 games have gone on, he's slowly dwindled down to just doing his job. He's been on point and he's doing exactly what we expect of him. Next up, we have João Felix. This is quite difficult because João Felix is a baller. And I know that sort of splits opinions for Chelsea fans. Some people think that it was a waste of money. Some people think he's an absolute baller. And there's no one really in between. I'm in the baller camp. I love João Felix. I love watching him play football. And the fact that he's been playing Conference League and like cup games and not Premier League as much. It's a wild one, but he knows what he signed up for. He took a wage cut and he knew the project that he was going to be a part of. So based on the football that I've seen him play, I would say that he has been exceeding expectations. Them Conference League games, yes, I know that there's a disparity in terms of opponent and the player's skill, but he's been so good when we've seen him play. Renato Vega. This guy, do we put him in unreal or do we put him in exceeding expectations? Because I don't think anyone saw how good Renato Vega was going to be, myself included. Had high hopes, as you always do when a new player signs. Unreal or exceeding expectations? That's a difficult one. I'm actually going to stick him in unreal because I think he's genuinely been unreal. This tier list looks very even right now. But I genuinely think he's been unreal. Every time he's been solid defensively, he's been solid in midfield. He's proper Chelsea already. He knows what it means to play for Chelsea. Plays for the shirt. Yeah, I'm sticking him in unreal. The next player is Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho. Okay, cool. I would say he's also been unreal. Three assists in 4 games. No one saw that coming. He has definitely been exceeding expectations, but in the first 7 games, he's been unreal that he's played for Chelsea. Like, yeah, unbelievable player. Next up, we've got Nicholas Jackson. I'm going to stick him in exceeding expectations because he's been better than what we've expected. He's got a few more assists. He's grabbed some goals. And I feel like he will, by the end of the season, when we revisit this maybe in a few months or near the end of the season, I'm hoping that he goes into the unreal bracket because Nicholas Jackson is exceeding expectations for a lot of people outside of Chelsea. But for Chelsea fans, we know what we get from Jackson. But he's also improved on last season already in this short span. Christopher Nkunku. Again, another player that's kind of been, not relegated, that's probably the wrong word, but he's been in rotation with, Conference League and Cup games. He's made a few Prem appearances, maybe not as many minutes as people would like to have seen him play, but I think he's been unreal in this first 7 games. He's been unreal, mate. He's our top scorer, I think, with 7 goals. Like, it's crazy. This guy's become a very clinical finisher. He scored in the international break, his first goal for France, which is another clinical finish. Guy's been unreal. Next up, we have Mykhailo Mudryk. This one always splits opinion. I've personally lost a lot of patience with Mudryk. However, he's played well in the last few games and it's really kind of brought him up a lot more, and I'm kind of building a bit more patience with him. Whether he gets that move in January, whether it's loan or permanent, we don't know. However, I've said this in previous videos, Mudryk needs to perform to get that move, and we want him to perform to secure some money if we are going to sell him. So it kind of works for both parties. I'm still going to stick him and needs to improve because I just think he needs to improve. Like, he is improving for sure. He's played better games and the time he has played, but he still needs to improve for me. Next up, we have Noni Madueke. Oh, would I say he's been unreal? He did bag a hat-trick. He's got some assists. No one saw that coming, really. I'm going to say exceeding expectations. Purely because this is a reoccurring thing with Noni Madueke. We talk about his decision-making, and I understand he's a high and wide winger that's one-on-one, likes to be very direct. But I still think that decision-making just needs to improve just ever so slight more. Shooting when he's passing when he's shooting. However, he's scoring goals and he's grabbing assists, so he's definitely exceeding the expectations that we had on him for the start of the season, or at least for me personally. Ooh, next up is Moises Caicedo. I'm sticking him straight and unreal. I would genuinely think he's one of our players of the season so far. He's been so consistent, and he's been consistent for a long time now. A long time. He's been good since the turn of the year, really, and he's been consistently just putting in performances, getting better and better and better. And now he is the best DM in the league right now. I don't care what anyone says. Rodri's injured, so yeah, Moises Caicedo is the best DM. We've got Wesley Fofana, a guy who was out for a long time due to injury, plays a lot of Premier League football, has made some mistakes, not been as consistent as we'd like, but has played some very good games as well. Him and Colwell, I think, is a solid pairing, a pairing for the future. It's going to be absolutely unbeatable. Where would I put him based on this season? I'm going to say on point. I think he's been on point this season. He's doing his job. He's doing what we expected of him. We're not expecting the world from him. He's come back from a long injury and he's played well. Levi Colwell. Or I'm going to say he's exceeding expectations. Exceeding expectations for sure. Like, he's really showing his leadership skills and his qualities. His line-breaking passes are just unbelievable. He's just comfortable and calm on the ball. He's good with the ball at his feet. He can drive out from defence and sort of like beat a man too to kind of push the team up. He's playing exceptional. Future Chelsea captain. Next, we have Marc Cucurella. For me, one of Chelsea's players of the season so far. He goes straight into unreal. Straight into unreal. This guy, one of the best left-backs in the league, in my opinion. Comfortable inverting. Great sort of going forward, joining the attack. Defensively, he's solid. Puts his body on the line whenever he can. I think Cucurella has been one of Chelsea's players of the season so far, so he has to go in unreal. This is a hard one. Next, we have Robert Sanchez. Very controversial within Chelsea fans currently because he has amazing games, he has poor games. I would say in the first 7, he's played better more than he's played worse, but he has made some crucial mistakes. Where do I put him? Exceeding expectations purely on them 2 back-to-back clean sheets away from home and the recent Nottingham Forest game. Like, those 3 games combined, that is not the Robert Sanchez we saw last season. So he is making massive improvements, leaps and bounds, so exceeding expectations. This one's a bit tough. You got Carney Chukwuemeka, who's played like 40 minutes of football this season. Very hard to judge him. I'm going to put him in needs to improve based on the fact that he's been ill, he's had a bit of like smaller minor injuries, and he can't quite get into that first team. So to me, that says like you need to improve because you can't secure that first 11 spot. I love Carney Chukwuemeka and I want to see him play more minutes, but I feel like the writing's on the wall and Chelsea are going to look to sell him, whether it's January or in the summer. He's going to want to play consistent football and he's such a talent. So I'll be very sad to see him go, but at the same time, he can't break into the first team, so he's got to improve. Next up, we've got Mr. Badiashile. I need to say no words. He goes straight into trash. I don't understand how this guy is a professional footballer. He's got so many mistakes in him. He's not the player that we first signed. When we first signed him, his first 6 or 7 games, he looked like a Rolls-Royce defender. He was unbeatable. He was a brick wall. Got injured, not been the same since. And every time he plays, he just gives me anxiety when he's in that back line because you just know there's some sort of hospital pass he's going to play or a genuine mistake. And look, I never want to say like players don't want to try because of course they do. They're professionals. It's their job. And I know that Badiashile's trying to improve, but I just don't think he's Chelsea quality. Next up, we have got Tosin. Do you know what? For a free transfer, he has been solid. And I'd like to see Colwell and Tosin as a partnership. We've seen it briefly this season and it's been solid. Cool, calm and collected. Unbeatable in the air, great with the balls at their feet. Yeah, he's exceeding expectations for me. I don't think anyone expected him to be utilised the way he is and to see him bring his experience and kind of calm that back line down and kind of give it shape when he plays. He's been awesome. Next, we've got Cassidy. He's not played a lot of minutes. I think he's done well when he's played, he's done well. I think he played against Barrow and yeah, he bossed that midfield. He started off a bit shaky, but then he grew into the game and I think he played very well. I'm going to say needs to improve purely because he can't break into that starting 11. He can't break into that starting 11. So, you know, he is young. Enzo has worked with him at Leicester. He does rate Cassidy, but I just think he's got to improve. Next, we got Axel Disasi. Trash. Now, I actually like Disasi as a person. I think his personality is great. I think he's great in the changing rooms. The clips you see of him on the training ground, like everyone gets on, and he seems to get on well with everyone too. And when he plays well, he is unreal. But it is so few and far between. This guy is so inconsistent. I understand he's played a lot of time at right back and he is a centre back. I appreciate that. I really do. It's not your position and you are playing it. But it's just not good enough. Like, it's just not good enough. I've seen Milk turn quicker than this guy. Like, he's just so slow. He's unreliable. Again, got a mistake in him too. So, yeah, I don't think he's Chelsea quality. And I could see Chelsea looking to sell him in the near future. Tyreek George. I'm also going to put him in needs to improve. We've not seen enough of him. He's a youngster coming through, and he has been impressive when we've seen him. But he's just not played enough for me to give like them top 3 sections. Mark Guiu. Ooh, very difficult. Again, limited minutes. But from what we've seen of him, I think he's exceeded expectations. Which I know sounds hypocritical, but let me explain. We bought this guy for €6 million. And at 18 years old, his hold-up plays, link-up play, fantastic. He's pressing, fantastic. We was not expecting that. He is definitely exceeding expectations in that sense. He's just not playing enough minutes. So for now, I'm going to stick him there because I've been very happy with what we've seen of him. But he does need to try and break in. He is also very young, so I'm not expecting him to be challenging Jackson and Nkunku for that number 9 role. But it'd be nice to see him break into the team and get more minutes throughout the season. Jorgensen. Do you know what? I think Jorgensen's been on point. I don't think he's done anything terrible. I don't think he's done anything amazing. I think he's just been on point. Like, he's just done his job very well. I can see why we bought him. I can see him challenging Robert Sanchez later on, either through the season or for next season for that number 1 spot. For sure, he looks a lot more comfortable on the ball than Sanchez, and that's why we bought him in. But as of right now, I just think he's on point. I think he's doing his job very well, and yeah, neither good nor bad, just average performances. I've actually got Mykhailo Mudryk on here twice, so we're going to ignore that. I don't know why he's here. So we're going to go to Ashimpong. I think just, again, needs to improve. Youngster coming through. Not expecting a lot of him at his age. When we've seen him play, he's been okay. He's had some good spells. Doesn't look too out of place. And for a youngster, that's a great thing to be able to showcase when you're in a squad of all this talent. Massive squad that has constant rotation. I would like to see him play more minutes again, but as a youngster, I'm not expecting the world. So needs to improve for sure. And last but not least for this list is Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. This one's a tricky one. We saw glimpses of magic in pre-season. He's also played a few games where he's been woeful performances. However, against Barrow, again, I know it's lesser competition, right? We saw what he is capable of and what his role can be in that midfield, and he had an exceptional game. He controlled that midfield for massive spells, got himself his first Chelsea goal. I still think he needs to improve, though. He needs to show it on a more consistent basis, in my opinion. There's a lot of Chelsea fans, and me to a degree, that are like, why did we buy him? He worked under Enzo, he's going to help settle the team, played the system, but he can't break into the first team. When he has been given his opportunity in recent games, like I said, in the Barrow game, he played very, very well, and he did showcase what he can do, and we saw glimpses of it in pre-season, but overall, in the first 7 games, I've not seen enough, and he needs to improve. He needs to be breaking into that first 11. So that is me brutally ranking Chelsea players so far this season. I am unaware if I forgot any players, so please let me know in the comments if I have. What do you think of this tier list? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love having a conversation with you guys. The international break is nearly over. We are going away to Anfield this Sunday. There will be a match review on Friday this week. Make sure you are subscribed so you get notified when we upload it. I am feeling really positive. I'm feeling really positive going into play at Liverpool after the international break. We are just got great momentum, great team spirit, and the system is starting to work. So I can't wait for it. And at this point of the video, a thumbnail will appear on the screen. If you do like Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because that'll be a video that you enjoy too.